how do we allow fear to move and become love? Contraction, expansion. I know we've just mentioned that, but can you give me an example so that I know that at least I've explained it well? Make me feel good about myself.
I had a recent experience. I had a recent experience where I was dwelling on exactly that, and I thought, no, I need to feel it. I need to go through this, and I relaxed completely, and as I was going through it, it evaporated, but what came was the saying, all you need to fear is the fear itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The only problem is always fear. See, another thing, what you raise a good point here, is that fear fears fear. It's a vicious circle, you see. We use fear to give us safety and security, to protect us. And the insecurity and lack of safety is itself fear. So fear promotes fear, you see. So that statement, the only thing to fear is fear itself, is very apropos here. Because, yeah, fear is the only problem. But the thing is that most people live in fear so continuously that we do not even realize it's fear. And at the end of the day, after work or whatever, we feel tired, we feel stressed. And we say, oh, I worked hard and I did this and I did that. But truly all it is fear that was bombarding you all the time.
I have a question. What about when you're picking up fear or something from someone else, then you can't tell the difference whether it's your fear? Do you handle it the same way?
The same way, because it doesn't matter where it comes from. You see? Fear actually in reality is not yours. It's always picked up from the past, or from someone else, or from the environment, or from even watching a movie, for example. You can have that fear. You see, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. If you're feeling the fear, then it's your, quote, responsibility to see it through. And so don't call it fear, just take a deep breath and just say, there's this energy moving through me. And it's okay, allow it. And give it space.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When it has been fears that you have gone through for many, many years as a child, that is impregnated in you as trauma, allowing the feeling to flow through, because it has been experienced as trauma, would it be better to go through hypnosis?
That's what actually hypnosis does, is that our ego, our mind needs to know, wants to get to the root of something so that it can have a logical explanation. Okay? But feeling the fear goes beyond explanation, logic, reason, or anything. In the case of trauma, it's true. You get so caught that somehow or other you need to say, well, okay, so it came from that, so it's really, so you can say, well, it's not really my fault, well, I wasn't to blame, I'm not guilty, blah, 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 so that we can placate ourselves with this game, But in truth, the best way to deal with something is in the moment, to see it as it actually is. It's a feeling, and give it space.
But again, if it's been conditioned into your system through trauma, then what you're talking about going through your daily life, not realizing that you are always at the subconscious level in that fear.
That's right.
Because now it's a conditioned response.
It's a condition. It's always, it's there.
You are living in fear.
You're living in fear all the time without realizing it. So sometimes it shows up in dreams as nightmare,
right,
or it shows up in a wild reaction. You make things when you have a certain trauma, for example, anything that reminds you of that state, you see it as, instead of that small, you see it as a big thing. Even somebody makes a remark, you almost want to punch them because it reminds you of that, you see? Because something that attacked you personally, and so because you didn't deal with it as a child, now it has reached grand proportions, and it's a monster. It's an actual monster.
And you still
So,
feel that going through it would still be better
if
through
you
hypnosis?
if you go through it very slowly, knowing that all it is like you said, it's a conditioned response. The fact is to know that it's a cellular memory. Then in time, with your courage and wanting truth above everything else, I want only what is real. You see, in time you'll transcend it. The point is never to make yourself less of a person because you're suffering from it. Never to see yourself as bad or sick or anything like that. You know, but many people have had traumatic backgrounds. One of the worst that I have seen, you know, in my clients is not so much a traumatic experience like rape or like being robbed or so you catch a burglar or you get into a fight or anything. That is not so serious. What is serious is that as a child being ignored continuously, being told to shut up, being told not to feel, not to cry, that is the worst. Because what happens is that you stifle yourself so much, you lose the ability to feel. You see? And when you lose that ability to feel, then you never feel alive, you know? And that's something that takes much longer to deal with. Because many times I talk to large groups of people. I used to do that in Toronto, and many people says, well, you talk about love, but I don't know what love is. Can we use another word? Or they couldn't relate. Mm-hmm. And I've had many people, they couldn't relate to deep feeling, you see? Mm-hmm. Because they've been brought up in that manner as a child.
Does that also what happened to be with shame also?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So when you, if you feel that you have this type of thing, you've been stifled, then it's good to ask questions in a group, to expose it, to bring it out openly. Because when you start doing that, there's a healing that starts taking place. See, we're ashamed to expose ourselves. So to have the courage to expose it openly in front of others begins the healing. You see? To do it openly. But this is what's important, is to bring everything to the surface and make it move. Make it move. Don't hold it in. Many people have committed suicide or driven insane because they wouldn't talk about it. They would keep it inside. And when you keep something locked inside you, you're very close to insanity. Okay? See? Yeah. But you know, when you're at that satsang, you are definitely ready to deal with fear as it comes in the moment, and to see it for what it is, and to always say, I choose love. You know, no matter what it is, no matter what you're feeling, I choose love, because it's the only thing that works. And you begin to see that, you know, a year ago or so I used to feel this shame and fear and guilt, and now I feel so free, you know, for no reason at all. I feel so happy. And what has happened is that you're freeing yourself from all this illusion, you see? Yeah.